Hello, and welcome to the Reimagining Ourselves podcast, where we spend time dreaming of what we could heal and what we could become. I'm Cassandra. I'm a life coach and therapist, and I come to you with a decade of experience working in the mental health field and a lifetime of experience learning how to process and grow from pain and trauma. This is a passion project of mine, and 100% of proceeds from this podcast are put directly into the hands of people working for environmental restoration, indigenous reclamation, and urban gardening. On this podcast, we will talk about different ways to heal our minds and bodies, our relationships and communities of all kind, and our planet and spirituality. We will explore different perspectives, and I encourage you to be curious about what these conversations spark in you. Today, I would like to discuss the 80-10-10 rule as described by Sherry Mitchell in the book Sacred Instructions. From Sherry Mitchell is a very powerful and influential Indigenous activist and lawyer. In her book, Sacred Instructions, and subsequent interviews, Sherry talks about this concept, and I'm going to describe it as I understand it and try to give some examples. So the idea is that we need to spend 10% of our time, energy, and attention noticing the harm that is coming in at us, another 10% trying to stop that harm, and then a full 80% of our time, attention, energy, dreaming the world into existence. There has not been a day that my life hasn't been changed since hearing this idea. So I wanted to talk about it and talk about how it's shown up in my life. The way I was living before, I'd say, was 100% of that time and energy and attention on noticing the harm and feeling completely debilitated by it. So if that's where you are now, then I really hope that this video will share a different perspective with you. You might get something out of this. To start out with, as I'll talk further about in future episodes, I struggled with a very painful childhood. And after that experience, I had this feeling that I needed to witness everybody's pain. Let's talk about that witnessing of pain. There's something to this, which is why this rule is so powerful. The reason why this rule is so great is because it is important to see what's happening and to hear people's stories and to hear what they've been through and what they're carrying around, because we do need to feel the grief of the things that have happened and the harm that has been caused and the harm that is still being caused. We need to connect back in with one another, and we need to care. The perspective that I'll be sharing in this podcast includes some ideas about how intentional it was to desensitize people, especially like from the 80s on. We have been trained to think that there is nothing we can do about the pain in the world. And that should feel very weird, because that isn't, to my understanding, that is not how human societies existed, not how humans lived for the majority of our species' existence. We lived in communities, and communities need to come back, because communities are one of the big ways that we protect ourselves and our children from predators, by which I mean somebody who might want to do you or your family harm. So we do need to notice the harm and pay attention. I think that's where we've been for the last 7 to 10 years. I'd actually say that on a societal and cultural level, it's been in the making for the past 50 years. And that we've had a lot of people working to stop the harm in the last 7 to 10 years, but everyone's in a different place. I think that that's where a lot of people are right now. I think we're doing a lot of noticing. And that was really important. And a lot of people have also done some great work on stopping the harm. And I'm so grateful. And it is not over. I know that there are wars going on and people being hurt and children in pain. So if on any level we have the enormous privilege of having the safety and luxury to dream a new and better world into existence, I think we should. So I want to tell you a little bit about what I'm dreaming up next for the world. First and foremost, I'm hoping for a lot more connection and a lot more healing. I'm talking about healing of all kinds. I want to see us heal our relationship with nature and the rest of creation, with our families and our parents and our children, whatever stories are still being told from the past. I want to see us heal our communities so that we have places that we belong and that we feel the support of our fellow humans, heal our relationships with one another on a large scale, to heal the intergenerational trauma that we are all carrying from the ways that our ancestors related with one another, heal our relationships with our minds and our bodies, our relationship with our planet that gives nature and spirituality, remembering the love and energy that passed back and forth between humans and nature, and remembering how loved and nurtured we are. Heal from childhood trauma, heal from different forms of addiction, especially technology addictions. People heal their sex lives and their marriages, heal people who have been lied to by industries, actors and musicians, especially those that began as children, healing our relationship with the divine, which goes by many names: God, the universe, source, energy, light, Gaia, the great mystery. And I'm interested in having some future discussions about the harm that's been caused and associated with some of these names. For me personally, I've been playing around with a lowercase little g God because of some of the harm I experienced through very human and fallible members of church and religion. But because I still feel drawn to the word God and the power that it holds, and through what I've felt in my prayers and meditations, I feel a strong conviction that God understands why I'm doing that and knows my heart and knows that I mean no disrespect. In fact, I just want to offer it as an alternative so we can heal our relationship with this divine energy and every other little thing in between. But I'm not here to evangelize. I'm just offering perspectives that you can take or leave. I'm a huge fan of theology and philosophy, so for those who are interested, feel free to stick around. I don't know if it's just the wonderful people that I've been surrounding myself by, but I feel like I can feel a shift. I think people are waking up to the beauty of our connection and dependence on one another, the way that connection and basic needs are really all we need. I'd like to have guests on this podcast who are doing various forms of help and healing in the world. So if someone comes to mind that you think I should reach out to, please leave it in the comments below. I'd also love to hear what you think of this concept and any dreams of what we can do next on this planet. A big thank you to Sherry Mitchell for sharing this idea, and I'll leave a link to the Land Peace Foundation in the description box below. The Land Peace Foundation's Wichita-Teen land-based programs are some of those that I'm interested in partnering with on this podcast. So in the meantime, check that project out and please send them any resources you feel called to. If you've watched this all the way to the end, I'm extremely grateful, and I hope you will stick around and hit that subscribe button and the little bell for the notifications so that we can use some of this social media for good. That's it for now, but I'll meet you here next time on Reimagining Ourselves.